I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to the regular meeting of Moose Lake City Council for November 12th, 2015. And we'll start with a pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing is the agenda changes and additions. I do have some additions we need to put on. To be on the second page under new business. And E at the top. Just a note at the back of the sentence, partnership with developer and school, and just pipe in parentheses. A little discussion on the meeting we had this week earlier. Also on new business, number 6, down after H, we'll have I. And this would be a discussion on parking on Elm and 4th Street. And the last one is a correction under announcements. This would be also on the second page, the very last item, Moose Lake Power Light Commission, Wednesday. That meeting will be November 23rd at 5 p.m. Do we have any other changes or additions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
I so move.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Same? Oppose? Motion carried. Under consent agenda, 2A, we have the minutes for June 10th, 2015, the regular city council meeting. Number 2A2, October 14th, 2015, regular city council meeting. Number 3 is October 27th, 2015, public hearing, planning commission. Number 4 is a November 5th, 2015, special city council meeting. Number 5 is September 28th, 2015, regular water and light meeting. Number 6 is October 21st, 2015, regular water and light meeting. And number 7 is November 3rd, 2015, special water and light meeting. Do I have any discussion or items for the minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Number 3, this would be 2B, financial reports. Number 1 is the city accounts payable for November 2015. Number 2 is city financial statements, October 2015. And number 3 is the liquor store profit loss statement for October 2015. Any discussion or comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion to accept the financial reports?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Let me get caught up with these items. That brings us to public comment at this time. This time is reserved for comments from the public on matters not listed on the agenda. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. We have none. We have some guests here tonight, and I'd like to move them up on the agenda. First is Kristen Lojak. If you could please come up to the podium. This is request for annexation of North Country Estates.
Yeah, I'm looking to annex in North Country Estates. It's off of Coneska Road up by the new school. And I know our city administrator is not in place, the regular full-time city administrator, but I'd like to just get it in the notes or whatnot that I'd like that annexed.
Have you talked to the township also?
No, I haven't talked to the township about
Okay.
it recently.
Okay. I know you did before,
Mhm.
and we made that attempt a couple years back with the whole 10, going down 10 all the way to, that's Sand Lake Road, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
all the way down in that field, but I know that the township itself at that time were, the board members were more or less in favor, however, the people living on 10 were not.
Correct.
And of course, once they put their statements into the township board, of course, it didn't happen. But, yes, thank you for putting that in. And I know at some point we will be talking with the township. I'm not sure on the procedures again if you do have to go through them. That's something that we would have to,
We can try looking it up.
yeah,
Okay, that would be good.
yeah,
When I talked with the last administrator, they said I didn't need to go through
township.
the township. I don't know if that's still holds,
Yeah.
I'm not
or
sure.
no.
We should be able to look on the lease side, it should say, it should have a procedure defined.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there has been some interest in the lots that are currently up there. Once those lots are sold, I mean, what percentage of the lots do I need to have up there to request the annexation?
Boy, you know, I think it's just your land itself, the whole, I guess the whole area that you own at that corner, I know where it is.
Right, but once I sell some of the lots, I guess it's my concern to annex it in before I sell the lots.
I understand what you're saying.
Yep, so.
Yeah, what is your timeline? Do you know?
I don't have a cut in stone, you know.
Yeah,
I guess the people that are interested would probably be looking in the next month to be buying the lots.
I see.
If there is a timeline, that would be it. Otherwise, I did look into working with rural housing to put up some lower income or affordable housing, and they're willing to work with me as long as there's city sewer and water. And so that would be an opportunity to build some more housing that's needed that would fit lower income.
Council, any questions?
Mr. Mayor, is it an opportune time, because we're, looking at the water and sewer out there with the school addition happening there, and, but time frame, I mean, this would be, probably, quite a ways out, I think, before any sewer or water would ever even get out there, even if we started on it right now and there wasn't any roadblocks, it would still be I think, quite a process.
At some point, the sewer will be to the school,
Right.
to that area. And I know we have, later on, we'll have a discussion with the council, the agenda item on the piping and stuff. And I would imagine, once we've come to agreement with the school district and the developer that we have, we'll have more at the time where we'll be open to discuss an item like this. And by then, we should know what the procedure is for annexation of, an individual into the city,
Okay.
from League of Cities, and also, I thought we had to have approval through the township also. But we'll find all that out and we'll let you know.
Okay. Do you know what type of time frame you guys are looking at for when those?
Oh, to the school?
Yep.
Well, I know we have to start working on an agreement now of where and it'll come in, and I know they need it by next June.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They want it in place at that time.
This coming June?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know we have to make some decisions ourselves.
Mr.
And I-
Mayor, can I just make a comment? On that annexation, that information we got, if I remember correctly, there were several different kinds of annexations that we could do. And
Mhm.
the one you're referring to probably was one of the other options, rather than just,
Mhm. They call it, it's an orderly or friendly if it's just
Yeah.
an individual right at the township and city line.
yeah.
And we have done that before, up in the Luce edition,
Mm.
that area, we did that. And also actually where the Superior Auto Auction is. I don't think that was originally in the city limit. And that was a friendly annexation, that 39 acres, or orderly, you call it, is what it is.
Takes time.
Yep.
Yeah,
A lot of time sometimes.
yeah. But this, yeah, if we start now, at least you would know through the winter to into spring.
Yeah, and that would, I'll keep checking back with you.
Yeah, and
Okay.
as we find out, we'll let you know.
Okay,
Thank you.
that would be good. Thank you, Ted.
We also have one other guest here tonight. Actually, we have two. Harland, and this would be in 6H. You're up.
Mayor's, Mayor, Council. I just recently been to a meeting concerning the CIP program, the Conservation Improvement Program. It was a summit between the municipalities and the co-ops. And it was to look at the legislation that's in place now, maybe try to improve it and actually make it work better. And one of those things I've learned is the monies that we are mandated to spend towards this program of our funds is the improving the efficiency of the appliances and electrical grid. And part of that is the public infrastructure, which is like streetlights, buildings in here. We can actually put more monies towards that to help offset the cost towards putting more efficient lighting in place in the public buildings. And I was talking to Guile at the hockey rink, looking at their fixtures because they have the old fluorescent tubes. So we're looking at putting the LED lights in there and helping out. Because we're mandated, like, we got budgeted $30,000, and right now we have reserve from last 3 years we spend monies on. And actually, we're going back and looking at some of the paperwork, like some of the street lightings, the LED lightings. We can put that under the CIP program and transfer monies around, so that way we're showing we're actually using it. We're having a hard time people coming in with rebate slips for more efficient appliances. So we got reserved, and also with we haven't been learning through this the summit that we can spend more monies towards the public infrastructure. So, and one of these is the green streetlights. On page 12 on your pamphlet handed out are the two fixtures that we could put in place. We can, over the course of time, we can replace those fixtures to LED lights. The only thing is, we cannot spend the monies out of that CIP on the poles or the installation, just the lighted fixture itself, the LED. And the light heads you're actually using about half the power that it normally uses on these older fixtures. So they're more efficient. But
So if you could do that, would you start like on,
we'll take a
like
spring
Arrowhead
yeah,
or
spring
whatever?
yeah,
Yeah.
and do them all at one time.
Uh-huh.
Instead of one here, as the light goes out, we replace it. We just do a whole string
Whole
at a
string.
time. That way, it doesn't look so
So over time, go through the whole city that way then?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that'd be fantastic.
And I was already looking at our budget and what we have to spend. We can do most of the outline areas we have with the fixtures that are in place now, the old orange-looking ones. We can go to the LEDs with most of that, what we have to spend on that.
Great.
So,
Well, like at the arena, that would help dramatically at the arena.
yeah, we can put that towards next year's budget for that,
Uh-huh.
on that, and look at that.
Oh, great.
And also, through the course of this summit, I learned that out of that 1.5% of our gross revenues, we have to take 2% of that and goes towards the lower income peoples. And I contacted the Sunshine Closet because they have connections with all the charities in the area, and looking at doing a block on that. I have to go through the commission on that, the Water and Light Commission on that, and let them decide on how much on that. But
Great.
I was looking at the last 3 years of what we spent. We haven't spent nearly what we were supposed to on that, so.
Oh, that's good.
But we can help replacing these fixtures in here, I mean, in City Hall, in library, the Historical Society can help there. We can do a lot more than what we thought we could on that.
Police department, fire
Department, yes, sir.
district.
That's it, but you can't actually, we have to hire an electrician, don't we? Like
Yes.
for
Right.
interior work,
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
but the streetlights, you guys can do.
Yes, we can do the streetlights.
Very good.
And like I said, any new installs for the decorative fixtures, they would have to be, they would not count towards the CIPs, just the fixture, the light head itself that we could pay for on that. And,
Very good.
yeah.
Thanks.
Mayor?
Yes.
Harlan, you've been really aggressive in changing a lot of our streetlights already over. How far are you in town for percentage of changing over to LEDs?
We're about 60 to 70%. And we haven't really looked at the numbers yet to how much the cost savings is. But I do know there was a business that went to 100% LED, and we look at their the savings in 1 year. It was like $4,000 they were saving in just going by LED lighting on that business.
Wow.
So it is a very prudent program. They're a little more expensive, but over the life of them, they're a lot cheaper. Because I know the street lights, the light bulbs in some of the photo cells, we're looking at a year, maybe 2 years. We have to go in there, change light bulb, the photo cells. But these new LEDs, we can go 10 years almost before we even have to touch them. So there's tremendous savings over the life of those, on those.
Oh, great. Thank you.
So Harlan, then this program is open to the public, businesses and private individuals?
Yes, sir.
As long as there's some type of energy savings there, we can help them
Yes, sir.
out
As
with.
long as they're Energy Star rated, they can apply for a rebate on their fixtures.
So if there's some businesses out there, new or remodeling, the
They can-
program covers it.
Yes, sir. And like I said, we got, what I figured, about 18,000 we didn't spend over the last 3 years where we should have. So we're gonna block that monies for the new streetlights for around town here. That way we can get most of those out of the decorative ones. We'll have to budget those in every year and do a string at a time. So.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thanks for the information. That's good news.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harlan.
Chief, our next guest is under your area, so you might as well come up and start with a police report. Thank you.
come on up, Rob. So. Our city council meetings are televised, and the people can watch them on the cable access channel, and they get a lot of viewers. So I just want to introduce Rob to the public. Rob Parrott, he's from the Saginaw, Brookston area, and he has experience. He worked for Fond du Lac Police Department for approximately a year, and he is about halfway through his training here with us. So we're very happy to have him here. He is a nice addition to our department, and asked him to say a few words. So.
Well, thank you guys, first of all. I know I applied here about a year ago, and it was a tight race at that time, and I was all excited, and I really wanted to be here in this small town, and I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to allow me to work here. I've always wanted to work in a small town, and this was always one of my first choices, so I was excited when Brace called me, and the opportunity came about to have that chance. I spent a little bit of time here now. I think I'm on 6 days, I believe, something like 6, 7 days. Plus I spent time before that too, and I really, in a short period of time, even grown to even like it more, and to realize I didn't realize Moose Lake had this much stuff to offer. I didn't realize it was expanded out the way it was, and it's pretty exciting to see that it's growing so fast like that. And I think I can definitely make a career out of this police department. I'm very glad to be here. Once again, I want to thank you all very much, and Brace, for allowing me that opportunity.
Well, thanks, Robert. Welcome. Appreciate it.
The other thing I wanted to share with you guys is I got a very nice plaque from a family in town here, just thanking the police department, and I'll just read it quick. It says, in April of 2015, the Moose Lake Police Department responded to a man with 2 loaded guns at my house. They responded with speed, honor, and courage. After arresting him, they spent long hours and days following up on the incident. They stopped in many times after hours to check on my kids. The people of Moose Lake should be proud and feel safe with such a fine police department of men and women. To the Moose Lake Police Department, we say thank you. And that's from the Souls family. So I'll hang that in the police department. But
So great, yeah.
wonderful. So,
Good job, thanks, and
thank you.
pass it on to the guys that responded and everyone that followed up. It's
Absolutely.
greatly appreciated.
So, thank you.
Hey, does anyone have any questions for the chief on the police report? You don't have to come up.
No, good job.
Looks like we have
Thank you.
5 sheets of items, total calls 159. 9 in Pine City County Sheriff's Department assists, 16 Mercy Ambulance assists, 5 Minnesota State Patrol assists. So another very active month, and thank you. Under 4B, well, yes, we got A, B, we're at C. Approved purchase of carpet and furniture police department in 2015.
Yeah, we had a very unique opportunity to get a lot of very quality furniture at minimal cost from Mercy Hospital when they did their new expansion. They got all new furniture and were generous enough to gift us their old stuff. The company that sets it up is able to kind of buy the pieces to make it all fit in our location, and the price of that is approximately $2,700, $2,712 to install it and get all the pieces so it matches. So this furniture, if we were to buy it new, they said it would be between $14,000 and $15,000. So I think it would be a real help for our small space to be a little bit more organized and efficient. So, and looking at doing new carpet just prior to the installation of this stuff too. So asking for that to get approved so we can go forward with the addition.
And just to further, to remind the council members that were here at the time, we're looking at a whole new setup in the police department, and, cabinets and the workstations, and it was, boy, I thought we were talking, well, like you said, I thought it was even more than 15,000.
Yeah, it's expensive.
So this is really a huge savings. This furniture is like $12,000 to $13,000 savings to the city by using the pieces that the hospital will no longer use, and we're just purchasing, and they're setting up the ones that either were broke off it or they're missing from it, and this would replace it, make it a whole unit.
Yep.
So this to me is a real savings.
I'll make a motion, we approve the carpet and furniture purchases for the police department.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Any further questions?
Nope, good job.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carried. As you can see on the rest of that handout on page 55, those are items for the new budget year, correct? Just for our information. And I think you've already given that to Jean when you reviewed the budget for the following year. Thank you very much. Number 4B, park update. Number A, Minnesota Department of Health campground. Old shower, bathroom violation orders have been removed and 6 new sites added. See the MDH inspection report. So while the person was there from the Department of Health checking the new sites to approve them, they also checked on the work in the old bathroom, and what has been proposed and the work done was totally satisfactory, and they approved the work that was there. Do we need any kind of motion on this for the sites? Okay. Any questions by the council?
Just one was, it says proposal, or does that mean more new sites closer to the Little League, or is that just proposal to the sites that are there, those 6? I know they're starting to get, it's nice to have that space in between the two.
I think it's just these 6 that
Okay.
are
Right,
there.
only 6 were approved.
I don't think it's the
Right.
proposal.
Park board doesn't want to
Right,
move them in, because they wouldn't be that compatible.
No, and a
if you had
couple
them
of
too
these
close
are
together.
only used in dry times too. 'Cause
right.
of where they're at.
Good.
Under 4C, Steve. This is CA is a technology committee update, and B is iPads for city council.
Thank you, council. Good evening. As far as the technology committee updates, the live barn that we brought to you a couple months ago, the contract did get signed and all the paperwork was sent in for Riverside Arena for that automated camera system. They had said that we'll probably be on the second round of installs, which will start at the beginning of 2016. So we probably will miss this hockey season, but we will be able to use that for other events that are in the arena. And again, that's no cost to the city, so I just wanted to update on that. Page 62 in your packet has the Blandon Carlton County grant. The technology committee is looking to submit this grant to the Blandon Foundation for approval. What the grant is for are digital signage like we have here at City Hall that's broadcast at Channel 7. The difference being is all the locations that are in the grant will be able to put their own content on there for their own buildings, and then also be able to get overridden by us in case of an emergency for directions and any statements, meeting locations, stuff like that. So it's for emergency preparedness. The total of the grant is a little under 12,000. We would be doing a 50% match. We're asking for 6,000 from Blandon, so we'd be just under 6. That would be able to be used out of next year's budget because the grant is not due until December. But we just would like approval to submit that to Blandon. So I don't know if we need consensus or a motion on that, but
We need a motion.
the technology committee did review it and did approve it, so.
I so move that we apply for the Blandon grant that the technology committee approved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion, questions by the council? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried.
Thank you. And then going back 3 pages, page 59, there's a quote. There were 7 steps that we brought to you last month. One of those steps included purchasing a digital messaging system for the school to use for a year and a half or so until the new school is built, at which time we would take that out and put it up at the depot, and they would purchase their own. So the quote is there for the digital sign. We'd be looking for approval to purchase that. It is within the budget that we have for this year, so we wouldn't be asking for anything additional, but we wanted to show the quote for that.
I do have a question. Who would be installing it?
The school can, or I can. It's just putting a TV up on the wall and connecting it to the internet, so that's very basic. So we'll save money from not having to have someone install it as well.
Any other questions by the council? And this too was also approved by the technology committee.
Correct.
So bring forward. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further questions, discussion? Just, I guess, real quick for me, that this is within our this year's 2015 budget, and we have no problem.
Correct.
Very good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then I handed out a separate packet that's got some more quotes in it. We have 2 cameras left for the city that needs to be purchased, which is the camera up there for city council meetings, and then the camera that will be right outside of the library that will get all of Elm Street. Those weren't quoted because they were special cameras. Those are on the 4th to last page of the packet I gave you from MCD. The 2 cameras for the city are the first 2 that are in the packet. They total $6,058.21. And then the next one, it says outdoor new school camera. That was something that the technology committee approved. That would be a wireless camera that sits on a pole outside of the new school location. Water and Light has already approved a pole and power to that location. And so this camera would be so that the school could live stream the progress of the school being built. Once the school is built, we can take that camera and put it anywhere in the city that we want after that point. That total for that is $4,646. So the total for all 3 cameras is $10,704.21. That is also in this year's budget. We have a total right now of $16,000 approximately, and we still have another 63 to come in yet this year. So we are still within this year's budget for that.
Open discussion with council?
I like the way they look. You know, they're not going to be that gaudy like the cameras in the first cameras and so forth, so,
That
yeah.
you'll be able to see very clearly. They have been installing more today and tomorrow, and then they'll be back Tuesday as well, hopefully to finish up.
And I think just for the council's sake, these were part of those steps that were presented to the
Few months
council.
ago.
Yep, from the,
whole, so it's all, so prioritized in line and
Yes.
within budget.
correct.
I guess I don't have a problem with the 2 from here, but I don't know if spending $6,000 to watch a school be built is really a priority.
I guess that was my question. Are they interested in partnering with us? I mean, it's kind of their project that we're,
Yeah, they were fine if we purchased it and took it back when they're done. So, I mean, it's up to the council.
What would you use the camera for when we get it?
Most likely, when we get it back, we'd put it down at the beach, on the campground and playground area down there. That was phase 3 of the camera, that we haven't done along with the Historic Society.
Well, if we're going to use the camera and it's going to be used for a purpose, and especially the safety of children, I have no problem purchasing the camera.
Then that would be then part of the 80 that were approved last,
No, this would be separate from that. That camera would be separate.
have we purchased all 80, or are we on a timeline thing with that?
No, those are all been purchased and are currently being installed.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that all part of their lease, right? Is that lease?
Those cameras are leased, yep, 5-year lease.
So we own them then?
We will own them after 5 years. Yep.
Just a lease buyout.
Okay, so just kind of for my own self, the indoor camera,
That is the PTZ, the pan-tilt zoom it's that one
That
hanging
one.
down, so
Replace
for the
that one.
council meetings.
okay, and that has to be changed to digital because it's analog now.
Correct.
Okay, so we wouldn't be able to use it at a date in time as we get into it anyway, right?
Those were taken and put into the municipal liquor store to
Okay.
replace all those cameras.
Okay.
So we are.
We need to, we have to replace it, okay. And then the next one, the 360 camera for Elm, that's,
That's the one that's outside of the library, and that will get all of Elm Street and across the street at all the businesses.
and that's an old analog also?
That one's an old analog also.
So it won't be compatible with
Correct.
us? I got you, okay.
We'll be watching the Arch too, and
Yes.
So that's the reason they're old analog, and we need to go digital to make the whole system.
Yes. I would recommend those two for sure. It's up to you
Okay.
on the school. We can certainly get that later. I did talk to the school this morning, and they are supposed to start putting up walls in like January, February, but with the rain, they're not sure yet, so. So we could wait till next year's budget as well, if you wanted to.
So, if you're gonna have to put it up, I would imagine you'd rather put it up sooner than later because of the weather. I mean, it only makes sense. And if we're gonna use it, now the one that we had purchased originally for the park.
We didn't purchase one for the
Oh, we
park.
didn't?
No, that was phase 3, so we just did 1 and 2, which was
Oh,
everywhere but the
okay.
park and Historic Society.
Okay. All right, so I think council has all the information. Any other questions from the council?
I also move that we purchase all 3 at the quote of the $10,704.21.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion, questions?
I'd still like to see, if we're going to put one at the park anyhow, I'd like to see us put the 3rd one there instead of at the school.
Sure. And
Isn't it
just
putting
one
it there?
question, budget-wise, so all the items that we've
Then it's gonna go to
approved
the
so
park.
far would be within this year's budget,
Everything that I will propose today will fall within this year's budget,
and
yes.
we won't go over the budget, correct, Jean?
You know, I guess the problem is all these leases and things aren't coming out of that technology budget. They're just coming under miscellaneous because they weren't budgeted for to begin with.
Right.
So
Mhm.
when you say it's within the budget, I don't really know how much we pay per year on that lease. I really don't know.
It's over 14, less than 1,500 a month.
Right.
Right. For 5 years. And I don't know if it came out of the technology budget or if that was just out of the general.
It was just, as far as I know, it's coming out of just the miscellaneous general fund because it just is.
Right. Well, that was why I wanted this stuff put into a format and go through a step-by-step process so we know what, when, where, and how. What happened last year's already happened, so we're past that. I mean, and there's nothing that we can do about that now. It was passed back last February, I think, January, February, but the going on should be prioritized and shown to me in a orderly fashion of how we would proceed to bring all this technology in and utilize it and make sure it's installed and working. I just want to make sure that the stuff we're doing now is within the technology budget that we have. And I know that those other cameras, that's going to be general fund for 5 years.
That's what I mean, so when you say within the technology budget, well, you've already ate up $15,000 a year of the technology budget if you were to put the cameras under that for the lease.
Mhm.
So I don't know, you know, how much money do you want to spend on cameras?
Absolutely.
I do have one more question on this one that would be up at this, potentially up at the school.
Okay.
Is that something that would hook in with the police department so they could monitor theft and?
Yeah, that'd be our camera, yep. So it'd go on our system. And that wasn't expensive because it's wireless and there's antennas
Get an
and
advantage
and all
from the
that, so.
construction site, yeah.
And when would it go to the city park?
When the school is done being built.
And the school understands that it would
Yep.
go?
Got a question for Bryce. You know, like the cameras that we do have, do you guys monitor them? How do you do that now?
Right now, none of them are working on monitoring. They're waiting for the new ones to get installed, but yeah, we have, right now, one TV that can look at 25 cameras that we have,
Mm-hmm.
and we have, waiting to be installed, another television, so we'll be able to, we can look at 50-plus cameras at all time, and you can zoom in and
So at one time, you could look at that many, there'd be that many showing up. Okay.
as far as recording, a lot of them are just tied to motion, so if there's no motion, they don't record.
Correct.
And if there is motion, they'll record, you know, if there's a problem, go back in time and view it.
And if I remember right, was that for 30 days? I'm kind of extending the discussion, excuse me, counsel.
45 to 60.
And that could be all, let's say there was motion at all the cameras, then all of them could be recorded.
That's at full capacity if all the cameras
Okay,
were recorded 24 hours a day.
okay.
I can tell you the last month, we could have used those cameras at least 3 times for different felony level crimes. I'm very anxious to get them up and working.
Okay. We have a motion and we have a second. Are there any other questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
Aye.
Oh, we got 3-1. It's already passed. Motion passed. Thank you.
And then next in the packet is a photo of Moose Lake's mobile app that was included with the website. So this is kind of a preview of what it will be. It should take about 2 to 3 weeks to get approved by Apple and by Google Play Store. So once that's up and running, I'll let everyone know. The only change that I did make is I took out the ePay button because we don't have ePay. But otherwise, this is what it will look like.
Oh. You could post jobs, you could post, wow.
Yeah, so it's very functional. On the website also, at the technology committee, it came up to see if we could put a garage sale page on our website because of an abundance of signs that were being placed on the city's right-of-ways, which is against city ordinance. So we have created a garage sale page that people can post their garage sales, and it will be updated every week so that they can go to our website and see where the garage sales are, and we'll also put the link on Channel 7 and our website too so that people can see that. So that's just informational. Also, the iPads that we got granted through the Blandon grant earlier this year, started today. We had 5 people, and we got another class tomorrow, then next Thursday and Friday as well, and that's going well. And then the last thing I have, Gene had had me look up getting a quote for iPads for the city council to get rid of the packets, because we are spending a lot of money on paper and toner for the council meetings and some other meetings. So the very last page in the packet I handed out, I got this morning, would be quotes for iPads and covers for them, and then like a warranty plan to take care of those. And these are newer iPads, and they're bigger. They're 13 inches, so you'd be able to see more and better if you were to go with these. So you can see the quote on the last page, and included with our website also is an agenda builder, so we can upload real-time agenda packets up until the last minute before council meetings, and you'll have access to those. So if that's something you wanted to do, then we would do training for you, and myself and Gene would work on the website to show her how to do that too. So that's just for you.
I do have one question.
Sure.
I'm just looking at the quantity here. 8.
Yep.
Who are
There'd be
involved?
5 for the city council, 1 for the city administrator, 1 for me that I can put on a TV so that they can see the documents too if needed, and then Bryce and/or the city engineer.
Oh, okay.
Just a question, like for the general public, then, like, we have guests that come, so we just probably print out a couple,
Maybe 2 instead of 10.
which would be a great savings.
Also, with that, the public would have the agenda, just the agenda. They'd be able to see at home too, so they could follow along
I see.
on the website if they wanted to. They wouldn't have access to the whole packet, just the agenda.
Okay.
But there is no cost for that service for our website. That's all included. So it would just be the cost of the iPads.
And Gene, you recommend this also because of the amount of work that's,
It would save a lot of work, yeah.
Just the copy machines themselves, I mean, you're
Well, we
wearing
got
them
a
up.
lease on that, we had over $600 in overage fees, just because of all these packets and color copies and.
Is that
it would
per
be
month?
One iPad, yeah, that was for 1 month,
just for 1 month.
so,
So 1 month, it would basically pay for one.
right.
So you were thinking of putting this in next year's budget, is that what
I
you're?
would say put it in this year's budget if we have money left, and just get them as quick as we can. and get
Yeah.
them up and moving.
With the digital sign for the school, the 3 cameras, and this, the total I had was right around 21,700, and we have like a little under 23 with our last PEG fee check in December. So we would still fall under the budget, minus the camera lease, of course. If
Right. Council? Questions, discussion?
We need to move that way. We are spending a ton on paper, and a lot of it goes right back after the meeting.
I'm an old paper guy, but yeah, you gotta change,
and then with this, I included the pencils too, which would be able to have you highlight and write notes on your iPad, and they'd be able to stay with you, that you can link to your calendars for reminders and stuff too, so.
So quick additions like we do at the beginning of the council, we could
Just
do
write 'em in.
additions,
Yep.
changes right at the time.
Yep.
Can I ask you if they're gonna download their own agendas?
Yes.
If they take their iPads home?
Yep.
Does everybody have internet access, high speed, so that, you know what I mean, so that you could download this easily?
Very good. Any other questions? We do have enough in the general fund. Well, you're saying we can cover it with the December PEG fees in the technology,
Yes.
and at the end of the year, whatever's left goes into the general fund anyway, correct? And then it starts building up for the 2016.
Correct.
Council?
I'll make the motion that we purchase the iPads.
I have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carried.
Right, that's all I had, so thank you very much.
Thanks for your work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for pushing me ahead.
Well, on the 5, previously discussed business, 5A, approved pawn shop ordinance that was tabled. Any further questions or discussion on the council on the? Hearing none?
As long as the police were comfortable with it, that would be the,
Yeah, I am.
and of course, it always can be revised, I imagine, too, if we have new issues or.
Well, it's totally up to the council on this. So the only question that I had asked, and I never was answered, if we don't have an ordinance, are they allowed to open a pawn shop? We don't have a full pawn shop right now. And without an ordinance,
Yeah.
I don't know if they can transition to a pawn shop. And that question never was answered for me.
What are they listed as now?
Right now, they are a thrift store.
If you don't have it in the city, then the state, whatever the state has, you'd naturally fall under what the state has for pawn shops.
So they could put it in without we'd have no way of,
I don't know, can they, or would they have to go through a process because of what is within a shop? Like I suppose they can't have guns unless it's approved, and also selling tobaccos and stuff like that. They'd definitely have to come through the city.
They already do for the tobacco. They have a license.
So any firearms or stuff would have to be approved by the council. I guess there are just some questions that never got back to me.
I don't know if firearms would.
I think that's federal, isn't it? Where they have to get a license for guns? 'Cause
For sale and storage and purchasing.
Imagine they have to have some kind of federal firearms license.
Does council mind if we just get I would be more comfortable if I had a few more
That's fine.
things, and Gene and I can ask those questions. Would there be any other from the council?
No, I just think you're better off with the ordinance than without it,
I would
by
agree.
far.
It just comes down to
I guess it's going to be up to the majority. That's how it always is. I guess the council.
I think we should probably act on it at the next meeting, one way or the other.
Okay.
I mean, we've all seen it for
Mhm.
several months prior to this.
I think answer the questions you have, and
Okay, and we'll bring it back to the next council.
Changed.
It'll be agenda item, and we'll bring this forward, and the council can move or not move.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Bryce, if you have any also, please tell me or Gene, and we might as well get every answer, try to get, answers for any questions, excuse me. Thank you. 5B, Minnesota Capital Investment Committee, no info. Any questions from the council on that? With none, move on to C, consider Norwood Drive water main extension. I think we're kind of at a standstill, and I missed in the meeting, and I think it may be tabled until the spring, and rebid in the winter to try to get some more reasonable bids in. Do we know what they're doing for water, if anything?
The state of Minnesota, actually, I directed them back to talk to them. The party out of Duluth actually shares part-time in Duluth and somewhere up on the range, I thought. And she went back to the owners that were having the water problem, and I have not heard back. She said
Okay.
that she thought they had some solutions for them. Whether they were going to take those solutions or not, I don't know. But there was some drilling company that she thought was going to be able to put a well in, for them. That's the last I heard.
I'll contact them then between now and next meeting in December and give an update to see what's up.
Mayor, because I'd like to see if we are going to bid it, to okay it in December, so we can get it out there, you know, in early spring, early winter.
Because they may have a solution and we may not have to.
I would also talk to the state. 'Cause I
Who did
think
you
I think
contact?
you're going to get two different answers.
Probably.
Yeah, so-
I have the list at home in my notes.
Could you bring that in, please, and
Yeah.
we'll do that. Thanks, Doug. D. Lakeshore Drive Street Project, I believe we're getting close to the completion of that. Gene, do you have any update?
Well, I don't have any updates. Steve isn't here, but he did send me these pay requests and he approved them for, pay request 1 for hard drives and pay request 3 for Kaminsky. And I think all that's left to pay is just a retainage, so they must be pretty much done.
I know that they did the side of the roads.
Or did they do that?
They did the filling. And Chris, I know your corner, I went to Pacific, you see that because such a large drop-off. Looks like they did fill it in
Oh,
with
it filled
dirt.
it some, but I think it's gonna need a little more repair. And I haven't been down to look at that, corner where it goes down into the lake to see if that was, you know, 'cause I mean, otherwise it's gonna be like that. And if we got snowmobiles coming up out of there and they hit that with a ski,
So it's right that corner and then just
right at.
30 feet down where it goes down to the lake.
Yeah,
Okay.
that kind of
We'll
whole
have to ask
corner.
Steve that.
We'll ask Steve.
We'll have him check that. Is he looking for the pay request to be approved tonight?
Yes. And this isn't the final. We still have retainage on both of these.
Okay. So council pay requests, number 1, hard drives.
I'll make a motion that we approve pay request number 1.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Any questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. And before we do the next one, if anyone else has any other questions on it for us to get to Steve, please call Gene and we'll make a list of that besides the 2 that Chris has. The other one is pay request number 3, Kaminsky Paving.
And this is Project F, then, of our FEMA portion of that road.
Yep.
Any questions?
Shows that 3% retainage in there. Has it gone through the inspection so we could pay that, or is that something necessary to hold out?
The retainage?
Yeah.
I don't think they're even asking for the retainage. That just stays out until
The final,
the final. I don't-
All right, I just wanted to make sure that it's not part of what's being paid.
Yep.
And
it's not-
are they the ones that would be doing they're doing the edging and stuff, right?
all right. Well, I imagine each one of them will be doing the edging on the area that they,
Yeah.
yeah. Do I have a motion to approve pay request number 3?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. 5E, review opportunity business park punch list, acceptance of guardrail. And that is, was there something else too?
Let's just attach to that.
Okay.
Emails.
You want to explain that guardrail, Gene? How
Well,
they-
I'll try, because I wasn't in on the whole thing, but I believe it's part of the development agreement up on Opportunity Business Park. Great River Energy has a power pole, and in order to get that close, the road that close to the power pole, we had to have a guardrail to protect it. Well, Great River Energy wants us to sign this agreement, basically saying that we'll maintain it and take care of this guardrail. The engineer says he's fine with it, and I had Marguerite look at it, and she's fine with it too, the way it's worded here.
They put it in.
pardon me.
It's-
I'm not sure who put the guardrail
The
in.
contractors.
It's already,
already
it's in, it would become our responsibility. No cost to us except the maintenance.
Right, and the engineer said it's just it's nothing special, it's just a basic guardrail, so he wasn't concerned.
Counsel?
Motion to approve the agreement.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
This is the same thing.
Yeah, this is. Moving on to F, Moose Lake Water Treatment Facility upgrade.
Have a add-on on the,
Oh, yes,
Oh, I thought
yes,
that was
that
down
meeting.
here.
So did I.
Yeah, thank you, Jim.
Good catch. I'm like, that didn't make sense.
Well, it didn't make sense down here, but I don't know.
This is kind of like informational and something we should start talking about a little bit more, and that is trying to come to a solution with the sewer and water from 73, wherever, to the new school. And we have asked for a meeting now as the next step. This is the informational part for you. Gene and I, the engineer, the school, and their engineer, and the partner that bought the land, or the developer, excuse me, that bought the land from Mr. Wiedendorf, and to see if we can come into an agreement of extending that sewer from where it ends in the Opportunity Park, Business Park, along the road, which that's Moosehorn Drive East, to get to the upper corner, and then, of course, from there to the school, to see what kind of agreement we can come up with that is beneficial to all three parties, and to make it as inexpensive, of course, if we can, to all three parties. We do have material still from our project back in 2008 and 9, the pond expansion that was halted. We do have close to 1,000 feet of 10-inch, which would be the sewer pipe, and that is the estimate cost is around $15,290. That's at current price for a new pipe. We also have the 8-inch water. This would be the same length, 1,000 feet, correct? For $26,740 at current price. So we have some assets that could go to this total project that maybe it could be our portion of it, so that it's material. It should be in the ground. We shouldn't have it stored any longer. That's the engineers. We tried to sell it, we couldn't, and if we can use this as our portion of the total cost, we would. I'd rather do this than the money. So I guess I want to inform you of that meeting, and also to get that permission to move ahead to see if we can use this as our portion of the project cost.
And my consensus, if you could.
My only statement would be this, is at that meeting that we just had with the school board, my take from our engineer was we have no legal obligation to bring the sewer from where it's at now anywhere. It's their legal obligation. So that would be us giving them $31,000 worth of piping. And if there's a way to use that, they said they could do it for $40 a foot, correct?
Correct?
Maybe there's an opportunity for us to get a benefit from their contractor
That's the whole idea.
to move it in a different direction.
Correct.
Okay. I
That's
just
the
want to
whole
make sure that
idea.
we're on the same page, that's
Yep.
all.
Get them together, see what, now even though they may be able to get a lower bid, we have to check legally if we can do that. We may not be able to. We may have to advertise, no matter what, how low theirs are. And if they can bid our portion of it and underbid everybody else, then, then we can use them. That part we don't know yet, but we have to start the discussion and move that way. And no matter what, at some point in that Opportunity Business Park, we have to, whoever has to extend that sewer anyway. To me, if we can get the developer to help pay for that, we have this asset. I'd rather not pay any money if we don't have to.
And I agree. And
Yeah,
legally, we don't have to help the developer either. I mean,
No.
legally, we could sit on their pipe, and when they develop it, they could have to pay their portion. The school could have to pay its portion. I mean, we don't have to give them anything.
no, we don't,
Try to
but
be nice.
then also, you look at the long range of development of all that property, which we want.
Yeah, we want to get a loop of water and sewer through there anyhow.
Yes.
But
And I agree.
all I'm
That's the
asking is
whole
that we'd
thing.
like to make sure that it runs so that it's beneficial for us.
And of course, anything that is agreed upon at the meeting has to go back to the individual boards, the school board and to us, so you always have the last say. You may not like anything that we come up with, and you may have other ideas that we go back to. We have between probably now and February, because you have to do the bidding, and the school has to get it in by June, so they'll have to know. The developer who wants to start in May and June is going to have his bids out, and if we're going to be involved in any way whatsoever, we're going to want to know also. So this is the time to meet and come back and see what we come up with.
My only one concern was, I know one plan was they were looking at just doing the water line as straight as they can, the shortest route, but that wouldn't help us so much for developing. So I would like to see them, so it was in a, where we could develop that property more than just that straight shot of water line. So it was, because they had a plan there for development, let's say, breaking it up, so we could utilize it more that way, if we're going to kick in all this.
Great.
Consensus? And we'll bring whatever comes out of it, we'll back to the council as a report, of course. Moving on to F, Moose Lake wastewater treatment facility upgrade. Upgrade on project memo from Brian. Let's see, do we have a page number?
79.
Thank you, Jim. I think everybody can read. Does anybody have any questions on the upgrade? Has anybody had a chance to go and look at the project? It's quite impressive up there. I don't know if you saw how deep that hole is they dug. I couldn't believe it.
Me too. Amazing.
Now it's pretty much sealed, but it's something else. If we don't have any questions with the project update, number 2 is pay request number 3, Magny Construction. What page is that on?
So 82,
83?
2. Well,
Starts at
that
2.
memo is on 82.
And this is recommended by Bolton Inc. on page 82. Anybody have any questions?
And they're on time, the way it looks, the project's going to be completed and on time.
This portion, yes. The next portion is up at the pond. That I don't know how that goes in the winter.
Yeah, because I think they want the ice on there, don't they?
I think they do. And they do have to have a building built up there.
Mhm.
in the pond. That's yet to come.
This is 31% of the,
Any questions for Steve that we can report to him? Doing none, do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion. We approve pay request number 3 from Magny Construction.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carried. 5G Park Place Drive, public hearing completed November 5th, 2015. Assessment set and certified to Carleton County Auditor. Any other information, Gene?
I just wanted everybody to know that I got the assessments to the auditor the next day.
So you talked, okay.
Great,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you. So no action needed at this point. H Highway 73 project update. At this point, I talked to Steve about this, and he stated they were still reviewing all the information that came in from Moose Lake. That last week, I asked Bryce if he would send an officer with the forms to all the businesses along 73, which they did. Thank you very much. And the state got a bunch of feedback from all the business owners, so hopefully everyone got a chance 3 different times to get input to this project, and hopefully when we get the final project back, that we'll have a successful outcome from everyone's input, so more to come.
Great.
Yeah, I never did get a chance to thank you or the officer, but please do that, who went down the whole street and hit every business, because I'm sure that's time consuming. Thank you. 5I, consider reimbursement to past HRA audits. And Gene, that's on.
I think I just put the,
Put
Already paid
that
some?
email.
We already paid some.
Yeah.
We already paid
Didn't we
some.
pay that?
I thought so.
We paid off what they owed on this year's, last year's, I know.
We never decide how many years to go back.
or if you would want to. It came out to be less than, I think, what we said. It was like 2,800 or something, I don't remember now, but
2,800 per year.
know that we paid that back, whatever they owed.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't as much as we thought it was gonna be.
Okay. Do you know what the estimate per year is, or is that the 2,800 per year?
No, that was just one time. There's such a difference in audit prices. They should be able to get an audit done for, if you look at this, the same size for around $2,000 per year. And they've been paying $6,750 for audits, which is crazy for a 40-unit apartment. And it's because of, the city financing through them, that they have to do additional work. That should stop because everything's been paid off. 2014 audit, once that was done, there shouldn't be that big of an expense, but there's going to be because they're still the same company. And they're only gonna decrease their expense by $500. And we signed an agreement with them already.
So you're talking about this year's audit then, the 2015?
Yeah, 2015, it shouldn't be as expensive
But
because
it's still gonna
everything
be,
was paid off.
it's
in
still gonna be
full.
more than what,
Yeah.
okay. But we,
They're hurting for money,
yeah, but we don't know what that amount's gonna be?
that they're gonna pay this next
Right,
year.
right, right.
500 less than they did last year.
And that's all. And
Why is that? I mean, that seems,
well, the previous administrator also signed a 3-year engagement with them too, so they can't really get out.
So this will be year 2 of 3?
Ooh.
So this, we don't have to decide this tonight, I just wanna make sure that we don't forget about it,
well, could you look back at the last maybe 5 years and
Sure.
maybe come up with a recommendation or something.
Well, I'll throw one out to the council. The thing about it, I'd say go back 3 years at 2,000 a year. That's just myself. If you want to make a motion on that tonight or not, if you want to wait a month for what Jean comes back with, then there'll be an agenda item for next month.
But yet, we're going to be asked to help out
2 more years.
2 more years.
But we received the benefit of that in the loans. That was for the liquor store, I believe.
Mhm.
Liquor store, the campground, and what else was there? The bathhouse down there.
The brand-new bathhouse and the liquor store, and
Those 3 things.
there was another thing. It may have been the fire hall.
Yes.
It is. The new,
That we refinanced.
we refinance through them, and so which is another, that's 20-some years on that one.
But HRA is no longer involved
Right,
with any of those.
right. We just received the benefit and got the lower interest rate for the duration of the loans.
I guess I'd like to see, Jean, you could come up with something, and then maybe we could also, in that same type of motion, make a motion for what we would.
And because of that, we may choose to do this with HR again, but we'll have to awareness now what it affected them, in a large amount on the audit, and that's something we can work on, figure it in with
Yeah.
it, yeah.
I would say we should have this resolved
Yeah.
by the end of the year, so if you could bring it back next meeting.
Very good. Agenda item consensus with everybody, so it's tabled. Very good. J, FEMA flood update. Maybe a review of what we got back and what your telephone conversation was, the latest.
No, I was just gonna give you my memo because I had to take work tonight. I just wanted the council to know that we're pretty much, all the large projects are done. It's been a long haul.
Mm-hmm.
And all that's really left to pay out is gonna be the retainage on Project F, Lakeshore Drive, what's left there, and then, of course, the engineer bills that go along with it. And, that's about it. And I did get an extension on the painting jobs in the park and down at the hockey rink. So we're good till July of 2016, and there should be no reason why we can't get it done by then.
Very good. Any questions by the council?
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
New business 6B, corporate resolution 15-11-01, member co-op credit union. What, is that page 88?
88.
All of this is just removing the city administrator.
Okay, so we need some signatures. Do you want that done right now while we're here?
I already did it. I can just get you, but we can do that tomorrow too.
Okay, so you need a resolution right now accepting 15-11-01. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have a request, this is 6C, Moose Lake Area Chamber of Commerce request donation for advertising. I think this is on page 89 is the request, and there was a, in the booklet, here it is, this is the book that they advertise in, which is, this is the, we're part of this area guide, so I'll pass it on, visitor's guide. The main office is in Hinckley for the area, and of course we have our own chamber, but this would be example of the page, how they would advertise, and it would be local businesses, not only those in the chamber, but businesses that are not part of the chamber. They kind of do they'll do the whole area type advertising. And I believe we did this last year. We did this last year.
So this is,
Yeah.
this is a whole page we're
Right.
taking out then.
Right. The reason that somebody isn't here, they have their regional annual dinner is in Hinckley at the casino tonight. The casino puts that dinner on for them. So all the chambers in the region are at that meeting tonight.
Will we ensure that our webpage is on there and?
Absolutely.
Do we know what type of business this is drawn? Do we have any way of showing
I couldn't tell you.
distribution?
30,000 copies.
30,000
Is that a
copies?
note on that yellow
Yeah.
envelope, maybe?
100,000 views on the webpage?
Is this
Open
some-
for discussion?
Is this something that we could, which budget would this come out of? I mean, it would be the donations because we don't have the,
We still have some that's left in contingency fund too.
We do.
Could be partial that.
I guess I'd like to see how much money we donate to them throughout the year before I decide on this.
Yeah, what we donate is pretty much a 4th of July.
Cleaning, we pay for their cleaning, they use the
Water?
copier. I mean, it's more than just the 4th of July.
Well, I don't know how you gauge that, because how much business do they bring into town too? You know, when you ask one, you have the other,
Yeah.
because they would bring that into, how many businesses belong to in the city? There's 100 and some businesses belong to Chamber. 130? So, yeah, what is their impact to the city? I mean, how do you balance it?
Is this ad,
Yeah.
is that the total cost of the ad, or is that the
Yeah,
total
that's
cost
my
of?
question. Yeah, what,
Um,
everything?
For the advertisement in the area visitor guide, this advertisement help boost tourism, will area enhance ability to draw tourists into the area.
I would assume it's the entire.
It would be for the entire page. I know it's for the whole page. I do know
Can I
that.
see that again, Mike?
Oh, sorry.
I just want to look at something
Wasn't-
quick here.
Didn't hear it.
This is one that
Actually, it's probably 2 pages, because,
I think they list a lot on one.
and then the advertise, so are these people buying individual ads on, say, you have the credit union gateway?
There's two.
Are they also paying for a certain,
They must too, yeah.
I don't know. I know I did ask, is it just chamber members of the 130? And I was told, no, they also advertise businesses that do not belong to the chamber.
Okay.
I don't have a problem for me approving this because it benefits the city. The chamber is really the first front, I guess you'd call the face of the city. The businesses, the chamber building, all the information they give out. It's just something that cities do with chambers. I just don't have a problem with this.
I'd like to.
And will they come again for more donations for stuff? Yes, they will.
I guess I'd like to see the city's website on there too, rather than just the chambers. You know, include that also.
It's however you guys do a motion. And if you have a consensus to ask more questions, you have December. I don't know if she has a deadline.
Probably.
motion by the council?
I'll throw one out there. I'll make a motion, we approve the donation for $1,230 for the advertisement to include the city's website.
Do I have a second? Excuse me.
I'm going to second it for discussion. Mayor, so do we get does the city get a box for this? Because I think we're paying for this page, but does the city, like you say, for a website or do we just pay for this page? That's what I'm,
If you put a request in your motion, that's the only way they can utilize the money.
Okay, I'll amend my motion then to include one of those boxes to be specifically a City of Moose Lake
website.
website promotion.
Probably like a logo, you mean, like a
Right, just like
city
that.
logo with the website? Is that what you're talking? So it's up to the council. So you amended your
No,
motion to approve it?
The second.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's just, yeah,
It'd be a lot better.
what you get,
It'd be a lot better.
I like this.
Any further questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Oppose? Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you.
Good thinking.
I would like to kind of sit down and see what we are donating, I mean, for the 4th of July and stuff. Because I think last year got rather confusing, and I think we kind of need to be more on top of what we're donating on behalf of the chamber. They are.
Well, I know it went up to 7,000 for fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, it is
Yeah.
a good,
Doing the whole
it's a
thing now,
good
yeah.
partnership. I
Mhm.
want to continue that, but I think we do need to
Mhm.
look at what we are.
it's quite an increase.
I know that another thing with if the chamber building doesn't have a water meter on it, has to be metered. All like this building, fire, police, the arena, power and light, all the buildings that do not have a water meter on have to be metered now. It's required to keep the record, even though we don't charge. We have to keep a record of how much water is used so we know what our total usage and capacity is in the ponds. And that came up out of this last study that the state mandated, the water, what do you call it, Gene?
Water supply plan.
Yeah, water supply plan. So that came out of that study that we have to do that.
Well, and Jim brought
Yeah.
up a good point with the cleaning. I mean, it isn't, it's the chamber's building, and why is the city paying to clean that one room? If they got a full-time executive director, I would think they could take the time to, I mean, it's a very small building why is the city paying for that? Just food for thought.
Yeah, very good. Yep.
Good discussion.
Anything else? Moving on to 6D, hiring timeline, city administrator. 4 applicants have been selected. Interviews will be scheduled for December 5th. I believe there's one individual, a council member right here that has not reviewed them. So I was looking for times, but you want to wait till, well, there isn't another, we have to set them tonight, don't we? Because there's not another meeting. Well, let's just say, Mike, you have
Beginning
you
there.
have an opportunity to do it. It's up to you whether you do it or not, I guess, put it that way. It's December 5th, and we haven't set a time yet. I guess first I should ask those that have reviewed them, is everybody in agreement that those are the 4 to move forward with interviewing? I guess that should be the first question.
Well, those are the ones we brought forward, so.
That's the thing, is I don't know which 4 you're talking about.
It was in the matrix.
Okay, okay,
The
then,
highlighted.
I understand that, then yes.
Okay. And, well, with Mike hasn't seen them yet.
Yeah, and that shouldn't make, much difference if the outcome, 'cause if you guys.
And is it only those four? That's the next question I'm going to ask. Are those the only four that we wanted to move ahead with?
That would be my recommendation.
I agree, and if.
That's, yeah, that's fine.
If the four
Okay.
don't work out, we can,
Okay. So we have, it'll be the four that were designated. We can't put the names out publicly right now, but then Gene, you'll be contacting them. What time of the day do you want to start these?
I would prefer starting in the morning, right away.
I'd say 10 o'clock.
Well, I'd say
Or
nine.
9.
On the 5th?
We could schedule the ones that are farthest away
Later.
later in the morning, and the ones the closest at, let's say 9:30, a half hour each person. 9:30, 10:30, so 11:30 would be done right before lunch. That'd give us a half hour to kind of discuss the four and then make a decision. So starting 9:30, and try the closest one to us, Gene, and then go from there. The next question is, we would need the questions for the interview. Is everyone comfortable that the administrative committee put those together, working with Gene?
It's the way it was done, before.
Yeah.
Okay, consensus? Doug?
That's fine.
I think we
Okay.
probably have the questions from the last.
We
time.
probably do. You can review them and adjust them, or whatever you need to do, what's
Save it For the
necessary.
next 2 years, because it will be.
I would say if anybody has suggestions, it would help,
Right.
And
Yeah,
the
if you
council
members
members
yeah.
have suggestions, I think that would.
Well, and we do this, we get the questions together and notify us by email, and then each person take the time to come in and read them. And if they don't come in, then they'll have to live with what we have. And then make suggestions to everybody and just so we're ready by December 5th.
Yep.
Very good.
I guess I would look at the matrix that you used and make sure that those questions are geared towards that.
Yep.
We have one other thing, and that is the four people that we have background checks. Do we want to do background checks on all four? I would suggest starting now before, because you're going to be making a decision on how they interview. Probably the top two, if you're going to go the top two or the top one. Do a second round, or are you going to look at interviewing four, get the top candidate, do background check then?
I guess I don't know how expensive background checks are, but it's.
I think we want to
Time
do a
consuming,
good
I guess.
extensive background.
Yeah,
I-
I would say,
I'd say
let's wait until we get down to.
Okay. And do you want to try to get to the one, or you want to go to two and have a second round?
Well, I think I
That's
would
hard to say on that.
say how,
See
you
how it
know,
goes.
how it goes,
Okay.
if they're really
Okay.
close.
Close or
So we'll leave that open for that time to discuss. We'll have a half hour. We'll pretty much know at that point if we need a second round, and then discuss with Bryce on background checks. And I myself, I would like to send somebody to the community, that the person that we select, and not just do the normal background check, but a visit to their community. And that's something we can discuss also at the time. Okay, I think that, any other thing, Gene, you can think of with that?
Do you have to actually set a meeting, or did we do that already? A special meeting for
I think we did set that back
We said that.
before.
That's December
When we picked
5th,
the date, I think we said.
9:30.
We just got to remember sure we post it.
Yep.
6E, memo from Ellers in regard to debt limit information. This starting on page 90. Gene and I talked to Nick Anhut, who has been here and reviewed different project, monies with us financing before. And we asked him about the potential of $750,000 matching funds for street projects. Where are we debt-wise? What can we,
The maximum debt limit?
right, at what level can we keep going at? We asked for some scenarios, and the front cover page kind of covers some of the things that we had talked about and stuff that he brought up. And I would imagine in December, and this is something that we'll have to check on, Gene, when the state street funding lapses, if it lapses at the beginning of the year, or if we're in the new year and it goes till July. We'll have to find that out, but this is informational for you right now, something to look at between now and December. There's a lot to look at. It gives some different scenarios for us on capital contribution to what level we would go to, if we want to do the whole thing, or if we do, maybe we choose one street. I believe it was 3rd Street, there was Earl Ellens Drive, and it was Kenwood South. And they were quite expensive. Kenwood South was very expensive,
But it needs it.
and you can look at the debt, but we have to balance it with what the debt we have already and how much more debt this will bring to us.
Also, you have to weigh the opportunity of streets that are crumbling. And
Right,
we're at a point where we have to do something, or we're going to have to do them all.
right. Now, I would suggest you look over this, try to keep these separate if you're going to leave the packet. And I think it'd be worthwhile if we invite Nick to the December meeting to help answer any questions that we have about our current debt and what that would do for future debt, how, if it straps us so bad that we can't do anything else,
You don't want that.
we want to, if we have a balanced approach, maybe we can do one of the streets. And we got to look at, I know that's a lot to look at, because we have a large book that we had, for our community-wide planning, long-range, short-term planning. There's projects in there also, so instead of doing the streets, we may want to, or maybe want to do one street and some of the other things that the community has brought up, like some of the sidewalks that have been complained about. There's in every single category in there, there's things that the community want. So I guess we got to look at what we can afford to do and not. And if we can bring some of that up in December while Nick is here and just talk about debt with him, then it'll give us a better idea overall how much farther into debt before we're kind of at that red line. We do have to have 6 months of reserve of running the city. I believe that is what is the state, what the state recommends is a 6-month reserve.
So Mayor, just to go back, was that state grant, was that a 50-50 or what?
Yes.
It was 50-50, okay.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Couldn't remember what so it's half price.
We do have other grants in. We heard that Steve has one, and it's not a big one, $6,000. We do have the grant into the state on the arena, which is a matching. But the matching the Hockey Association and us would have to work on the matching. So we'd have to, just so we know what's ahead of us too. So informational at this time, and please keep it out, review it. Hopefully we'll have some answers. Moving on to 6C, memo from Ellers. Okay, we just did that. G, a donation from Dan and Sue Benzie. This is a donation of $5,000. And I'll let Gene talk about that. You talk with Dan, correct?
They needed all new rubber mats, I think, down at the arena, and they donated, I think it was around $7,000 worth of mats, and they donated $5,000 towards them. This was pretty generous.
Very nice.
Very nice, thank you.
Someone
Yeah.
sending them a thank you, or, thank you.
Thanks. Thanks to Don and Sue, and also thank you, Gene. That brings us to I, parking on Elm and 4th Street. Just wanted to open up a little discussion by the council. This has come up before probably every single year for long as I've been here. It has surfaced, and we have limited parking for all the businesses and for all the customers, and I know that Chris, you faced this before with running a business downtown, and the city has asked that the business owners and employees try to park as far away from the businesses as they can, with as many outlying parking lots. I know we had a problem this year. We lost the parking up by the power plant because of the big project, but I believe it's now open again for parking. So that could relieve a little bit employees and people parking up that way and along, is that Douglas? There is no plan to do any changing of that parking right now. The suggestions have come up, 2-hour parking at all the spots downtown. But if you're employing, you park in one of them, that's a real hassle. There's also been suggestion that no parking for businesses' employees on Elm and 4th. And then the problem is, where do you park? And how far? And we all know the weather. So it's an awareness thing. I'm just opening up the council if I have any comments.
It's just been ongoing for
And it's gonna be.
ever, and it always will be. You know, it's just, like you said, to remind your employees to be conscious
Yeah.
about where they're parking, and
Mayor, I'd hate to see us add more signs too, but I mean, one thing would take care of the employees parking there would be that 2-hour parking, or people, a lot of rentals too are using those parking spots.
Well, there's a suggestion also that maybe have one parking spot near each business that is 2-hour, and the other then are long-term. We've never looked at that. Now, this suggestion never came to me before like that.
The only problem I see is who's gonna enforce it.
Yeah, I mean, that's
The police are busy enough without enforcing the
Yep.
2 hours parking.
you're gonna have
And
to.
how do you know that it's 2 hours? It'd have to be the chalk and,
It's-
Just something, maybe it's not even worth looking into, but doesn't the city own the land where the old jail used to be in the water tower?
that is owned by the city.
So I wonder if we could look at some parking possibly over there, just for overflow for these people to park. Because like you say,
It's not a real large area, but that can be discussed. I know that,
a few cars in there.
It all
Depends how you
boils
set
down
it
to
up.
convenience. People want convenience, and,
Yeah.
you know, there are the side streets, but yet they don't want to park there. So if we put a parking lot there, they're probably not going to park there either. It's,
I guess it's awareness for everyone to be aware of the parking downtown, and employees and business owner park as far as they can away, I guess, so the customers can get in. The complaints are from customers, not from the business owners or employees, but customers complaining to the city that they can't park anywhere to do business downtown, and if there isn't, we'll go other places, so.
Send another letter out to the business owners then.
What's that?
Send another letter to the business owners on behalf of the city that we've had complaints, and please remind your employees to park not in areas designated for customers.
That'd be a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but we're all creatures of habit, I guess, once we start doing things, you know.
well,
Maybe it would
just
be
do
better
it.
announcement in the paper. I hate to dump that on Gene, all those letters and stuff.
Well, I myself, if
Until we get a city administrator.
the businesses must
Then
not
table
let
it.
the businesses business if they're parking in the spots,
I know.
I guess.
I could see a statement in the paper.
You do that
and,
too?
post it on our two boards. I mean, I just don't want to dump that on Gene. I know what you're saying, it's probably most effective, but
Or maybe through the chamber, work through the chamber.
There's a good idea.
Reminder, it's,
Little email out there.
and they had just had a meeting today. But we could do that, email to Dusty to email all his 130 businesses. There's a good idea. Whose was that?
Jim's,
Oh, tripe, all right. That's great.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
it's been, I've come looking for a parking spot out here, and the way the cars move out of those spots, I would guess that employees are not really parking out here very much.
probably not. You know, a lot of them,
I really don't think they are.
a lot of them have gone across the street to the parking lot the bank put in, and we have agreement, as long as we plow it, they'll leave it open for general public. So I think a lot of employees on this side of Elm and maybe down, probably do all park over there. Yeah.
I have a question for the police. Do you notice a lot of cars overnight parking? Like, because there is renters above a lot of these businesses. I just,
Yeah,
I think,
I would say there's 5 or 6 in the 3-block radius that park on the street.
Any down here, downtown on Elm or Fourth?
One or two.
One on Elm and 2 or 3 on Fourth.
We should, those probably we could tell to move.
I don't know, maybe they're gone during the day, but I know some of them weren't for a while there, because that was brought up a few years ago too as a complaint.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Renters parking and taking the spots. And then the cars wouldn't run, and they just sit there.
Yeah, it became there, you could see that the plow had been, especially in the winter, starts piling up around them because they can't plow the cars there.
well, the apartments up here, isn't there a garage in the back, that area they could park?
They should be
I mean,
parking
yeah.
behind,
Actually,
yeah,
They do park.
yeah.
Guess mostly in the winter, we should require them for
Yeah.
for plowing purposes.
I don't think we have a real problem with the renters parking on the streets.
I guess that's something awareness, Bryce, for you and staff, if they see that, to see if they can, if they're sitting there day after day after day, to have them, get them to move them. Appreciate it, thank you. Any other items on that for the council? Thank you. I think discussion is good in the awareness, and like I said, it's usually once a year, and I think that's usually all we need. Reports and correspondence, number 7, update sewer and water rate information to go out on the water and lights next utility bill.
Could we also maybe put this in the paper?
Very good, thank you. Questions by anyone? If not, we'll move on.
I guess I do have one question. Have the state
Yes.
facilities been notified that this is happening now?
They have requested meetings with us, so has the sewer district. Both got letters, and they both have requested meetings, and they're both scheduled, correct? The meetings?
With POC, after the engineers gave them a response to all their questions, they'd sent us an email questioning why it was going up, and then they wanted a meeting. And so then I sent it on to Brian and Steve, and then they sent back a response, and now we haven't heard any more
Okay.
whether they want a meeting or not. So maybe they answered their questions, I'm not sure.
So more to come from the state, the district we will be meeting with, though. That has been set. Yeah. Number 7, congratulations email on new pavilion. I believe we have that from Nancy Henkin.
They're in there, when they started this, she was a young person, wasn't she?
Yeah. Let's see, we recently heard from Rita Barish that the Matthew Milzark Pavilion will be dedicated on November 11th, 2015. On behalf of the Intergenerational Center and Temple University, we want to congratulate you and the residents of Moose Lake on this major accomplishment. In partnership with the Northland Foundation, we had the honor of working with Vicki Radzak, Rita Barish, and the communities of all ages team in Moose Lake for several years. The energy, dedication, determination of residents of all ages, nonprofit leaders, government officials was very inspiring. The results of their work are impressive. We are thrilled to see that after facing so many challenges, the pavilion is finally up and serving as a home for farmers market. Older adult volunteers continue to teach genealogy, help children to learn and share their skills and talents. And how wonderful that the community came together to support the building of a new school. Congratulations on all these accomplishments. Moose Lake is a great example of a community that is a good place for growing up and growing older. Sincerely, Nancy Henkin, PhD, and Courtney? I have no idea. Brown, M.E.D. Very nice, thank you. Next one on number 7, thank you Moose Lake PTA. City of Moose Lake, thank you for allowing us to use the new pavilion for the Halloween, is that hustle?
Yep.
And for the skating passes. The event was a great success. Moose Lake PTA, Sasha. Quick Trip grand opening.
Mayor, I'm not sure if that is the current information, or if that, I got this way back in October, is that still correct, the grand opening?
24.
There's a soft opening on the 24th, they call it. It'll be open to the general public, and the latest I have is the 30th.
Okay, so then this is old information. on
Yep.
this one.
And we probably should contact them, Gene, just to make sure everything's on schedule and get a timeline.
I think we're still-
Okay. Ridership information, Arrowhead Transit. This was the latest information that we got from them. If you look on page 105, you can see the total number of the usage. Usage for August 35, September 63. We don't have October yet at this time. It wasn't ready. It kind of gives you a rundown how many and kind of the timeline when they're mostly used. We had asked for a third day, but they said because of our numbers right now, they were not interested in a third day, but they did say we could request different days of the week. And the group that's working, the A1 group that is the Aging Wellness in the Home group, did do a survey, and what they came back with was that Wednesday was a day that a lot of elderly would like to use because of what's going on at the hospital. I think the scanning or different things come in on that day for their appointments, and they asked if we could switch Thursday to Wednesday. And I wanted the council to see this before we contact the state on making a change.
And what would the other day be then?
It'd be Tuesday and Wednesday. Right now it's Tuesday and Thursday.
I
We
guess
could change them, but we can't ask for another one because they said the
I guess, I don't know if
Ridership.
we want them Tuesday, Wednesday, or maybe we should go from Monday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Friday.
I think the whole purpose was because it was the opposite schedule when the buses are being used.
I guess I would support whatever benefits them. I mean, they're the riders, they
Yeah.
know what days they need to use
I
it.
think Tuesday, because that's 5%
Yeah, at the
discount
grocery
at,
store.
at,
That's fine too, that's just,
right.
Spreading it out more.
yeah.
That would be nice, yeah, but if they're.
Well, that's, that was our thought, Tuesday, Thursday would be 2 great days, but, the Crest came back from their survey, it showed that there's a lot of interest for Wednesday as the third day.
Oh,
And that's what we requested to the state, and because they're the ones who have to pay for this to Arrowhead, and they said, no, the ridership is too low. But you can change dates, you can still have 2.
it would be interesting to know if the Thursday riders would mind changing to Wednesday. I mean, you wouldn't want to take away from some to
Well, the
others,
we
so.
can we have time, there's no time limit.
I'd maybe have to do
Timeline.
another survey that we only have it for 2 days and
Mhm.
What would, it would,
which
What 2 days do you
2
want?
days do you
Yeah.
want,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I know they definitely want to keep the 5%
yeah, well, that's
for,
understandable.
for groceries. And
Yes.
the latest one showed Wednesday. Well, I can talk to the Avon group again and talk to Arrowhead and come back and tell you. We just have to notify them a 30-day notice, and they make the change. And of course, the state will continue as they are, and they'll start picking up the cost, which is $500 a month,
We haven't even paid them yet. They haven't sent me a bill.
and maybe they won't.
I don't know. The ridership is down though. They want to see it.
They want to see it come up.
Well, and maybe Wednesday would be a, better option. So I guess if you could ask if they wanted to move from Thursday to Wednesday, maybe
I'll meet with the Avon group again and talk to the Arrowhead people and if we got consensus with everyone and move to whatever day looks like they'll get the numbers up. If the number comes up, they will allow a 3rd day later. So it's, all right. Committee board minutes, we do have looks like park board minutes. Was there any action that we need to bring forward?
In the park, is there any action for?
Remember, Jim, any action we wanted to bring forward?
Well, I know they wanted, just the pay, but that was something we were gonna do in the budget anyhow.
It had to do with pontoons,
Oh, it was Joe's
And-
pay was one of them.
which we have to enter into negotiation once he's done for the year. And is he close with finishing that bathroom?
For another week, he thought. They were-
Okay, so we'll probably talk about that in December and start negotiating with him in maybe January, whatever. We have until April? I don't think they come back.
Did get a new computer, because his was fried.
Okay. So I don't think there's any action to bring forward. Well, there was a motion made in the minutes, motion made to recommend to city council to sell the old mower and 2 pontoons.
Didn't we do that at the last meeting?
Yeah, we talked about that at the last meeting.
I think we already.
The
Is that
budget
when that's the one I missed?
Budget
The budget
meeting.
meeting.
Yeah, that-
Okay.
That was that short meeting we had.
last
Yep.
Thursday.
Okay, so that is done, the pontoons are done,
Yeah, I think,
and also the mower.
well, the mower was decided to wait till spring because we thought we could do better, because Bryce, we talked to Bryce about putting that on min bid.
Okay.
Whatever we use.
Yeah, I talked to the auctioneer, and he recommended selling it about a month before spring, that's price, so like March, April.
And the pontoons are gonna be sold cheaper to a camp that's gonna use them.
Very good.
I understand.
That's what
I could just make a statement too, since we're talking about committees and the park board and stuff. The pavilion dedication went really well. There's probably over 100 people there. And lasted about a half hour. It was a real nice little ceremony, and the Millsark families were all there, quite a few of them, and a lot of community members, and it was real nice. The weather held off, and went real nice. And we do have, in the minutes that were handed out, we do have the fire department minutes. Again, if you look at the run report for October, there's 41 calls. They said that was a little slower month.
Yeah, it was down one call from the month before.
They were down one call from the previous month, but 32 medicals, 2 dispatched or canceled, water rescue, a water-related rescue, a brush pile fire, I'm guessing that is, building fire, 1 false alarm, off-road equipment fire, motor vehicle with injuries, 1. The totals how that broke out: City Moose Lake 22, Windermere 13. There's within that Windermere there's 11 medicals, 1 call canceled, 1 building fire. There was 4 in the Moose Lake. That's the township, right? Silver had 1 and 1 out of the area. Carrick water-related body recovery. So now we're a very busy month with the fire department, and thank you very much. Any other handouts that we had that I think we covered them all? Announcements, special Moose Lake City Council budget meeting November 30th at 4:30 p.m. right here. Regular Moose Lake City Council meeting Wednesday, December 9th at 6:30 right here. Truth and Taxation meeting December 9th at 6 p.m. That's also here. Continuation of the December 16th, if needed, will be at 6 p.m. So remember to put that in your calendars. Moose Lake Power and Light, Wednesday, November 23rd at 5 p.m. Moose Lake Housing and Redevelopment Authority Board, Monday, December 14th, 11 a.m. at the Hillside Manor office. Yes?
Power and light one, it's Monday, November 23rd.
Monday, November 23rd. That was a test, Mike, for you, and that's a red check mark.
Lost 5 data boys.
Thank you, Paul, I appreciate that.
Because of Thanksgiving, we moved it, so.
Moose Lake Area Fire District, December 8th, 6:30, Emergency Response Center. Moose Lake Park Board, Monday, December 7th, 6:30, right here. Library Board meeting, Thursday, November 19th at 4:30 p.m., City Conference Room. Moose Technology Committee, Thursday, December 3rd, 10 a.m., the City Conference Room. Anything else? Very good. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make motion.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.